I'd like to talk about this book. Unfortunately, this is written in Japanese. I read this book in Japanese. South of the border, west of the sun, and I felt this book is probably written when he is much older. This particular author, Murakami Haruki, is older, and he was somewhat he kind of have a tremendous this motivation to write a good fiction, but I think this is kind of relaxed. At least in my mind, that when I read it, this is like a very straightforward story of longing, or when you're growing up and you become adults and you meet this person and you have a lot of relationship and you meet this person again and so forth. That particular narrative, I would say, is very straightforward, and so I felt like, wow, he's very relaxed when he wrote this book, and but regardless, this is fun to read. It's first page, you go on and you are hooked, and you cannot stop reading because so interesting to get into his work. But as far as the topics and this particular story is concerned, I felt like it is more matured person's more reflective mind to think about past, and you consider the life today, and you kind of a resigned position where when you look at all those experiences you had before, and today, I have to live this life and I have to cherish this life. Okay, so set aside that. Now, this particular book, this title for the to begin with, when I got to know this book, I was kind of drawn to this particular title, South of the Border, West of the Sun. South of the Border, there's this, Sinatra sang this song, South of the Border, down Mexico way. And in this book, the protagonist and other friends are talking about this particular song by Nat King Cole, the same song. And then this friend started to talk about West of the Sun. West of the Sun, I thought that's coming from, because of this is a song title, right? South of the Border is a song title. Therefore, I thought this is also a song title. And what I can think of the song is that I remember there's a probably jazz song, American popular song, old popular song, called East of the Sun. So, is that like a, he took those two song title put together, but he made a mistake in here, the West of the Sun, but that, of course, that's not his mistake or anything. This is deliberate because this particular friend explained what the West of the Sun is, and this is like a place long time ago, I think in somewhere Russia, I guess, and there's this expression West of the Sun, and that means the people all of a sudden get kind of deranged, become crazy or something, and they start to walk to the west direction or something, to find a new life or whatever. And I think that particular fact or particular thing is depicted in that folklore or whatever. And I think that's a real historical, the truth there, that particular symptom, a particular illness is, documented there at the time. So that's the reason of the south of the border, west of the sun, and but this book is nothing to do with that. I don't think there is no such thing as a parallel to the story in here to the particular disease or conditions of the Russian, people, and kind of interesting that it's not, this title doesn't reflect anything Japanese, anything, almost always like this is, I know, he's a, jazz fanatic, therefore he took this song from jazz music or something like that. That kind of a, feelings when I saw this title. That set aside, the story is about this, the Boku, which is, protagonist, talking about, narrates whole story there in this book, and he meets when he was younger this the girl, and kind of attracted to this girl, but she has a little bit of physical conditions that makes him a little bit hard to acquaint, and because I think she had this, I don't think this is like a discrimination or something, but she has the legs are like maybe polio or something, and it's a little bit affected the way she walks when she was a child, and he immediately kind of attracted to this particular girl, and then rest of he moved out and he moved to somewhere else, and she moved away. Nothing there, so his life continues, and then one day he meets accidentally this particular person, and that story developed from there too, and that's fine there, that's fine, and then she disappeared after that, and he resumed his normal life with current wife, and so it's like this man's like a self-absorbed interest essentially with the female, and but female is always, including his wife, it's like always like some distance from him that he is observing, and I don't know, there's a love depicted in there, other than like a tremendous attraction to this girl, to this woman. I don't think there's no love relationship, I don't think. And it's always like her manners or her knowledge, her brain, or kind of attracted to that, and that particular attitude is all through that in the past relationship with other women too, and so that's kind of a little bit I would say, if the female person, and I like to understand that, but if female person read this, maybe kind of offensive, to the female reader, but I'm not sure. I think some of the female reader in the YouTube like this one too, so I'm not sure that is true. But I felt that way a little bit. It's like a very much like a self-interest way of looking at the women, and but he accepts, and his life goes on, So, but regardless of it, all right, this book is very enjoyable to read. Again, when you start to read first page, you cannot stop it. You have to read through, and you know that's magic of Haruki Murakami. There is no magical realism or anything. I don't think in here. Very straightforward, real life experience. Except that he met with this old acquaintance, in some accidental way. That's that. If you see it, it's like a magic, but that's a book, right? Okay. So overall, I would recommend that you guys, after reading all his masterpieces, right? Okay, reading that, I think you get a kick out of this book also. Very readable, enjoyable reads, and sometimes offensive. There's always offensive stuff for some people because he has this explicit depictions of some kind of a sexual, things, and for sometimes, I think people get offended by that. I understand that too, and but other than that, it's nice read, nice book to read, and it's I think it's tremendously different from I would say Japanese sentiment in here. It's all somewhat out of Japan and somewhat his world is sometimes his world is in like a outside Japan definitely, and because of his hobbies and his interest is almost always outside Japan, like jazz and classical music, books maybe. It's always outside. He's not interested in the culture, Japanese culture inside. I'm talking about the author. Author Haruki Murakami is tremendously influenced by outside literature, outside music, outside culture. And so I can see that this one is more or less like a child of that particular feeling. And but still Murakami is this tremendous readable, fun reading is in here. So I would recommend. Okay, thank you, bye.